Desperation strangled my potential. Lots of us have that problem. Desperation generates a thick mental fog that kills productivity. You might be thinking, you don't know anything about me. Well, I know two things. I know people and I know desperation. You don't always see when desperation is pulling your levers because it cleverly disguises itself. It doesn't always have to look like someone waiting by a phone for it to ring or standing outside of a 7-Eleven with a cup in your hand. I've always relied on my thought process in everything I do, but when my creative side and my desperation clash, I'd be paralyzed. You can say you're desperate for success or to achieve your goals, thinking that means you're driven. Some people think desperation makes you hungry to make it. Does it though? You need clarity to generate great ideas. Lawyers, doctors, software engineers, they need to be able to tap into their brains to access their training, their expertise to do their jobs. If you're a filmmaker or a visual artist or an author, you need to be able to use your brain to conjure worlds, to build characters, or to find unique ways of expressing thoughts and ideas. If your tool of ideation is tied up with other processes, then all you'll create is chaos, frustration, and disappointment. I discovered over time that the creative process and desperation are both natural instincts. One, though, comes far more easily than the other. Desperation is constantly fighting for control of your brain. To do great work, you need focus. But desperation is like a tennis ball ricocheting on the inside of your skull, talking about how far behind you are, that money that you owe people, the rent is due, and by the way, did you notice that knocking sound that the car's making? Desperation is needling you to get your shit together at the precise moment that it's tearing your shit apart. You can't get anything done in a state of desperation, but desperation has this one really messed up trick that it pulls on you. Desperation can trick you into thinking that you're on the right track. Here's what it looks like for me sometimes. My mind would give me a wake-up call telling me, hey, you need to get this done and this done and this done, and you need to get it all done pronto. But that actually doesn't help me to get anything done. All it does is generate panic, and panic leads to fear, and fear leads to suffering. But where does all of this desperation come from? Well, there are many places, and here are just a few. Needing success to happen right now is the best way to be sure it never happens. Many of us already know this, but patience is called a virtue for a reason. I'll give you a perfect example. When I create what I think is a perfect cinematic masterpiece for the YouTubes and I load it up and it fails spectacularly, well, I feel like I've been kicked in the stomach. Whenever I pour my heart and soul into a video and all I get is 40 views, my immediate instinct is to say, man, this. YouTube is a waste of my life. What's worse is when you hear all of these experts who are creating videos in their high-rise condos in Dubai or Hong Kong, and they're telling you, you don't have to wait, you can have it all right now. You can have that success you've always wanted online, you just need to subscribe to them or buy something from them. And that feeds into your desperation. It breeds anxiety. It makes you feel as though you're not as far along as you should be. Other people are getting ahead much faster than you are. But I've learned something about the power of patience. Creation creates energy. Every opportunity I ever got as an entrepreneur walked through my door. They didn't come from me banging on theirs. Every sale, every contract, every partnership came when I wasn't looking. That's because I was concentrating on creating, on doing my best work, on producing, on output, without expecting anything to happen. You might be thinking, what the hell are you doing all this work for if not some ROI? Well, I create with intention, with a clear strategy to put my thoughts, ideas, and work in front of the people I need to see it. In the early days, I wasted a ton of time and money chasing after opportunities. I spent thousands having professional proposals drafted. I wasted weeks playing phone tag with disinterested clients. When I dropped all of that and I just buried my head in getting the work done and producing my best work, well, the results came. And that's what happens when you lead with creativity and not desperation. Non-creative people think of creative types as dreamers and weed smokers, but creativity drives focus. Desperation makes you obsess over meeting deadlines, fitting into certain timelines, getting those markers of wealth, material goods and possessions. Creativity, on the other hand, it makes you use up all of your mental resources to produce something out of nothing, something that is useful and valuable to other people. Desperation is the natural enemy of creativity. It prevents you from tapping into your best ideas. When you let go of desperation and let inspiration take over, that will get you to your goals a lot faster than desperation, the way desperation pretends to help you with your goals. Now, this is going to be particularly useful if, let's say, you're a content creator, because success in content creation online is never really going to boil down to a single piece of content. Not sustainable success anyway.
What makes a good video? What makes a good video?
Content today functions as a body of work, not a single viral blip. I want to go back to the YouTube example just for a minute. Because of the way that social media platforms and the algorithms function today, they're more interest-based than social. And that means that when people are consuming your content today, it's because they are interested in it as opposed to strictly interested in your personality or your persona. Well, that doesn't apply, of course, to celebrities. What that means is you could post a video today that can attract tens of thousands of views and you pop the champagne, then post a video tomorrow and that would attract tens of views and you pop open the Xanax. It's not that the algorithms are broken, they just work differently now. That is why it is so important to think of your output as a body of work, not a single moment in time, not a single piece of make or break content that if it doesn't take off, if it is dead on arrival, then you cry a river of tears like I do sometimes, all the time. You see, for me, desperation has a way of turning my emotions against me and derailing me and killing my motivation. For as long as I've been running my own business, I've always had to fight off desperation because it doesn't matter how well you plan things, nor does it matter how hard you work. I have to keep reminding myself to give in to the process so that I can keep coming up with ideas and solutions to keep moving forward instead of surrendering to feral desperation that produces nothing but stagnation. How about you? Do you find yourself pressuring yourself to keep hitting targets every week? Do you compare yourself to others in your niche and thinking, well, I'm not as far ahead as they are and I need to be catching up? Does desperation play a role in how you pursue your goals? Let's talk about it in the comments below.